Why do Kreese and Silver need to win? I'm going to tell you why Kreese and Silver need to win. Because this kind of thing would serve the story in so many possible ways. Now, I'm going to start this video by saying I'm not saying that if Kreese and Silver don't win, that it's going to disappoint me, because I have faith in the creators of this show. They know where they're going with this, and I have no doubt we're going to be blown away, and, you know, expect the unexpected. That's all I'll say. However, I do want to just get into why I feel like it is important for these two to win. Not only is the show called Cobra Kai, okay, and at stake here is Johnny and Daniel saying, hey, Cobra Kai's got to go. But the show is called Cobra Kai, so it can't go, right? That's the first thing on the agenda. Second is you're bringing Silver into the mix. Now, bringing Silver into the mix, in my opinion, he's worse than Kreese. He is a level above. Kreese is a sadistic villain, but he's a tragic villain. Silver, on the other hand, isn't just sadistic, he's downright flipping crazy. He's mad. He is absolutely deranged. He's lost the plot, right? And Kreese and Silver are a prime example of PTSD from war changing who they are. In essence, these two have never left the battlefield. They are still on the battlefield. They are still at war. And I feel like with Cobra Kai stretching it out across a show, you need to have the bad guys win. You need to have the bad guys win. Now, as much as I've said before that Kreese could get a typical Hollywood death where he dies with redemption or something like that, maybe him and Silver stay bad to the end, who knows? It's quite clear that the teams are now being set up as good versus bad, okay? There's still a lot of grey, but for all intents and purposes, you have the good guys and you have the bad guys. Now, ultimately, Kyler's not a bad guy, he's just a jerk. Tori, she's psycho, so hopefully this upcoming season we get to see more of why she is the way she is, and we can actually side with her a little bit more, and they can really develop her a little bit. I've got a couple of ideas on Tori that I'm working on, so stay tuned for that. I know some of you have asked, do I think she can be redeemed? If I'm being honest, I'd rather just stay away, but I'm going to talk about it objectively if it is possible. And of course it is, but I'll go more in depth on it in another video. And obviously Robbie's long-term redemption, which is the main factor of his story arc, which will probably take place next season. It will be planted this season, but season 5 is where I feel they'll pull the trigger for that. Now, the reason Kreese and Silver need to win for me is we've never seen them win on screen. We've only ever heard about it. We've heard Kreese winning. We've heard Silver winning. We've never seen it. How poetic and how important would it be? Right, and I've said this in previous videos, and I've discussed it with my my guests on Sundays. Terry Silver's wish to open up Cobra Kai dojos all over the valley. What if that comes to fruition? What if, let's say for argument's sake, the tournament plays out like this. Robbie and Sam in the final. It's a bloodline final, Lawrence versus LaRusso. It goes right back to the beginning of Karate Kid and that kind of theme. Robbie wins, Cobra Kai win, therefore, dojos start popping up all over the valley. How much would it serve Daniel and Johnny's stories if they lose? Like, if they lose, it would serve them. Now, you could say, well, Jacob, they lost in Season 2. They did lose in Season 2, but that was a very dark twist, you know, in isolation. This is a story beat that will serve them for the next 2 seasons. If Cobra Kai lose this, I don't know where you go from here. You could make Silver the big villain, but I'm not as excited for that. If Kreese and Silver win, that just changes everything. And they did say there's going to be a cliffhanger. So, Cobra Kai win, Johnny and Daniel are thrown into disarray, they don't know what to do. It breaks them apart, splits all the good guys apart, and there's so many potential ways that could go. You know, Daniel may lose his dealership to Tom Cole, as we know Tom Cole's, he has an affiliation with Silver and that line of work. But I feel like it would serve so much. I've said it before and I'll say it again. As much as the 6 seasons I'm sure will be great overall, this will probably be my favourite of the 6, because it will be the Empire Strikes Back of the seasons. We need Robbie to get a win, and yeah, I said it, we need Robbie to get a win. Robbie needs a win. He needs a win. He hasn't won at all. You could say, well, he kicked Miguel over. That's not a win. That's not a win. That was enraged anger, and it was his fault. But that's not a win. I don't count that. Miguel had him on the floor prior to that. He needs a win. Tori, we need to side with her. We need to understand her motivations, her reasons. And with Peyton List now being up to a regular in Season 4, I guarantee you we're going to start rooting for her. There's going to be a lot of her story that's tied to Kreese that we're going to start to care for. Kreese's story, he's like the Darth Vader of this show. If Anakin's the Robbie, Kreese is the Darth Vader. He's even got his own version of Padme in the past. You know, it's tragic. Silver will definitely be getting the Kreese treatment this season. We're going to see flashbacks to Terry Silver. We're going to see flashbacks of maybe a younger Silver, why he is the way he is. The same way we did for Kreese. You're going to see flashbacks of Terry Silver start to really come into his own. You're going to see flashbacks of Silver and Kreese opening up the Cobra Kai dojo for the first time. It's going to come full circle. And imagine this is the final flashback. The final flashback is Kreese and Silver opening the first Cobra Kai dojo, the original dojo, as Silver unlocks dojos across the valley. Poetic. Poetic. And then in Season 5, you have Robbie redeem, you maybe have Kreese do whatever, you have Daniel and Johnny come back together, and you set the stage, right? Season 5 will be like Season 3, in the aspect that it sets up the final fight. The way Season 3 set up Season 4, Season 5 will set up Season 6. So Season 4 is now going to be paying off the previous three seasons. And it's going to set up the final 2. It's going to set up the final showdown. Season 5 will just lay the groundwork. And Season 6 is going to be the end game of the entire show. That's why the bad guys have to win now. They have to win now. Because if you do it in Season 5, it's predictable. We've seen it a million times. The bad guys win, the good guys win next time. No, the bad guys win now. No one wins the next season. You just lay the seeds for what's about to happen, and then in Season 6, then you have Daniel and Johnny win. For me, Season 3's ending with Daniel and Johnny coming together is not just that they're going to win the next season, it means they're going to win overall. So in between that time, it makes sense for them to suffer a loss, and I feel like we're going to see it from the perspective of Kreese and Silver this season, and why they need to win. And it doesn't makes sense for Silver to come back 30 years later after everything that happened with Mike Barnes and them losing again, to lose again. This time they need to win. They have to win this. They have to. I just feel like it would serve the story more. As much as I want Johnny to win, as much as I would love Miguel to win, Daniel to win, Hawk to win, Sam to win, Dimitri to win, I feel like it would serve the story if you have the bad guys, for all intents and purposes, just using it as an example, to win. And I'm sure many others agree with me. That it's predictable a little bit, but the way they can spin it would serve so much, and I think we could all agree. How excited would you be for Season 5 if Cobra Kai lose? I'm just saying, I wouldn't be as excited. If they win, I'm excited, because then you're like, oh my god, how are Daniel and Johnny gonna get out of this? Like, it's gonna, like, and we don't know what Kreese's stipulation for Daniel was. Kreese simply says, if I lose, I go. If you lose, Johnny says, we won't lose, cuts him off. And remember the story that Kreese is telling Robbie when he visits him in juvie. He says to Robbie that Johnny lost in the final to Vidal, I think. I think that was. I need to go back and check. But Kreese says, I saw that look in his eye that he would never let that happen again. What did Robbie do in Season 1? He lost, and he had that look in his eye that he's never going to let that happen again. See? The seeds are right there. They're right there. Then, you bring it full circle with the Bloodline arc of Sam and Robbie fighting in the final. Bloodline, LaRusso versus Lawrence. Bringing it full circle to the movies. Then you have the bad guys win. I would love that. I would personally love that. Guys and girls, jump in the comment section down below and let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Because I really want them to do something unexpected. I feel like they've earned that right to do something that's completely, not completely avant-garde, because then you're just going to get a sequel trilogy scenario, but avant-garde to the point where we don't expect it, but it still feels earned. That's important. But guys and girls, I'll see you in the comment section, and I'll tell you what, I'm so excited for this season. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's one of them kind of things where this show is one of the best I have seen in years, right? And I count shows and movies in the same bracket. They're both forms of art. This is the best sequel to any 80s franchise I have ever seen. Rocky Creed movies, they're good. Those are good. But other than that, there's not a lot that do it, or do it well. This show does. Integrates the old with the new and tells an enriching new story. But yeah, Silver and Kreese, they got to get the win. See you in the comment section, and now the real pain begins, Danny boy. Oh man, can't wait to see him tantalizing Daniel throughout the whole season.